And then on the ground, also number 1 in conference, Versian Gamel, 117 totes, 862 yards, and 6 TDs. Peter Rucker, 35 carries for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Eric Haupt, 27 carries, 136 yards, and a touchdown. But going back to Austin Pilat, a little bit dinged up.
Yeah, last week going down in the third quarter with an ankle injury, a couple sophomore quarterbacks coming in and taking the load after that. But, again, talked to Coach Biolo on Friday after the game. Didn't look good. Talked to him again on Saturday during our seed show, our seed reveal show, and he said Austin did fantastic. The athletic trainers got him ready to see how he would do throughout the weekend. We can see, obviously, tonight that he's ready to go.
Also, through the air, of course, Dylan Lisitsa on the season, 35 receptions for 534 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's second in the conference in all 3 categories. Also, number 4 in conference receiving, Nathan Schooley, 32 receptions, 462 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's number 4 in reception and yards and tied with Dylan in TD. So they got some weapons.
Yeah, and Dylan Lisitsa goes up and gets the ball. Last week there were at times 2-3 defenders on him. He was able to go up, make a play, and if you have confidence, if you're a quarterback and have confidence in a receiver like that, able to go down and throw the ball up to him. And last week we saw Nathan Schooley a couple of touchdown on a wheel route, 55 yards. And again, Rapids has, as you mentioned, has the weapons. They just got to put it all together tonight.
Papermakers come in ranked number 2 in WIS sports in the state, behind number 1 Muskego. And you were telling me, Steve, a little bit about that place down in Muskego, and they got quite a program down there, as they do over here in Kimberly.
Yeah, win, and you never know what you're going to get. And Muskego, as we mentioned, knocked off Kimberly last year in the state championship. And again, top of the state again is Muskego. A lot of Division I recruits down there, and throughout this playoffs, if you're lucky enough to go and watch a lot of these games, you'll see a lot of top talent throughout the state of Wisconsin.
And the facility at Muskego, you're telling me, is top notch, just like it is here.
Yeah, absolutely. They brand new turf, brand new seating, and they love football down there. And as we said, if you win, you'll get the help that you need. And Muskego definitely has that. Looking at what they had on Google and then looking what they have now is totally different. And it's a beautiful, beautiful complex down in Muskego.
Papermakers come in with a record of 9-0 overall, 8-0 in the Valley Football Association North Conference. Last Friday, they thumped second-place Appleton North 45-14. They're up 31-7 at the break.
Yeah, and they're just putting it 2 teams as they have throughout the years. They've played in a couple of close games. They're always close against Fond du Lac, able to find wins when they have needed them. And they just, under the head coach Steve Jones, they just continue to find ways to win. And with a program like this, you will find ways to win.
As you alluded to earlier, Friday, August 30th, these 2 teams met here in Kimberly. Rapids scored just a minute 26 into the contest on a 2-yard jaunt by Versian Gamel. But at the break, it was 35-14 Papermakers, and they won at 55-21.
Yeah, Versian's going to have to have a big game, as he has throughout the year. A fun runner to watch is Versian Gamel, and it's going to have to cut down on the mistakes and really show what you've been practicing all week.
Caden Pendleton, their quarterback, through 8 games, 69 out of 114 attempts for 1,149 yards and 12 TDs. Some of the names we're going to see rushing the football tonight: Alec Martzel. He also plays a little quarterback. He rushed for 1,138 yards and 13 TDs. Caleb Fraser, he also rushed for 1,000 yards, 1,094 yards, and 13 touchdowns. And receiving, Connor Wennick, 54 for 811 yards and 6 TDs. Time now for the national anthem from Kimberly, Wisconsin.
Sportsmanship doesn't end when the game ends. It's part of the community you live in. Respect, character, dignity, and leading by example. Your community, your team. We're a proud sponsor of the WIAA Rural Mutual Insurance Sportsmanship Award since it started in 1965. From football to volleyball to soccer and tennis, the award recognizes more than team sportsmanship. It recognizes that sportsmanship matters in your community as well. Visit www.ruralmutual.com/WIAA and see how our team and your community work together to be true champions.
Kimberly High School Marching Band as they present their rendition of our national anthem. So we're just about set to kick things off here. The winner of this contest next Friday will take on either number 4 Neenah from the Valley Football Association South Conference. They are 4-5 on the season. They also got in with a record of 4-4. You just were speaking of Fond du Lac moments ago. Last week they fell to Fondy 45-21. Or they would face number 5 Hudson from the Big Rivers Conference. They were 4-5 on the year, 4-3 in the Big Rivers Conference. Last week they lost to Chippewa Falls 29-25. So Rapids wins. They go on the road to either Neenah or Hudson. Kimberly wins. They're right back here next week Friday.
Yeah, and that just goes to show like the discrepancy in the discrepancy of the grouping areas. Hudson and Chippewa Falls are in the same grouping as Kimberly and Rapids and Everest and all these. So we got two teams on the far, far west side of the state possibly having to come all the way over here next week. If Hudson's able to knock off Neenah, they would have to come all the way over to Kimberly. So Chippewa Falls also in this grouping. So, again, don't know what all goes into the all the groupings, but gotta think that Hudson and Chippewa Falls wouldn't have to travel all the way across the state to play a playoff game.
You know, we were discussing that a little bit on the drive over, some of the seatings, some of the travel that's taking place. I know we were talking a little bit about soccer and how my grandsons had to drive all the way up to almost Lake Superior. Marshfield tonight.
Yep.
They're going all the way to Superior as well for a football game.
Yeah, and again, we mentioned the 4 or 5 seeds, just one vote, one win, one score away, and Marshfield is a 5 seed, Superior a 4 seed, so they have to go up there. Loyal, the Greyhounds have to go up to Hurley tonight. Last year, Hurley had to come down to Loyal again, that 4 or 5 seed, so it's either you have to travel so far or you get to stay home, and this year Superior and Hurley are staying home, staying put, and having the local teams travel up there.
One of the teams we talked about on Tuesday on WFHR in the morning show, we were talking a little bit about Nakusa and how I was really surprised. I had not noticed lately, but I don't know when it happened. It was this year or more a few years ago. But it was interesting to find out that the Papermakers had basically the same teams in their conference, Mauston and Westfield and Watoma. And then all of a sudden in the mix is Gaelectric Trempealeau. It's like, how did they get in the bunch?
Yeah, and it's always interesting to see how the conference realign. Again, we talked about it, the conference realignment coming next year. But Gaelectric Trempealeau, another one of those teams that was Division 4 all year long with Northwestern. And then they end up getting a number 1 seed in Division 5 on the top right side of the bracket. And mentioning Nakusa, they have to go all the way to Northwestern tonight to take on don't want to say controversial Northwestern seed, but they have to go up there and take on a Northwestern, a team that as local fans like to watch, possibly Stratford and Northwestern having to get up there and take on those, possibly have to go up there to take on Northwestern in a level 3 game. A lot of people thinking Stratford should have been the 1 seed, but tonight, Kimberly and Rapids, and we'll maybe sprinkle in a mention here or there about the Stratford Tigers.
Yeah, Northwestern, they were ranked number 4 in Division 4. They dropped down to Division 5. They scored 408 points on the year, gave up 73, but then you look at Stratford, 481 points, gave up nothing. So.
9 shutouts, and they have been absolutely dominant as we get ready to go here. Wisconsin Rapids and Kimberly.
Kimberly won the toss. They deferred to half number 2. So the Red Raiders will be receiving the opening kickoff. And Cam Zebel, a 6'1", 155-pound sophomore, to do the honors for the Papermakers. If I didn't get turned around on our drive in, I believe that the Papermakers will be kicking from south to north here at Papermaker Stadium. And he approaches, puts foot to ball, and we are underway with Division I Level 1 football. It bounces at the 10, comes down at the 5, picked up back there by the Raiders. Take it back to the inside and put down at the 21-yard line. And Versian gives the Raiders 1st and 10, starting at their own 21-yard line. So we'll see how that ankle for Austin Pilat holds up here as we run our first offensive play of the ball game.
Ball marked at the Rapids 22-yard line. 1st and 10, Red Raiders.
They huddle it up back at about the 17-yard line. And they'll split out wideouts left and right. Dylan Lisitza on the bottom of the screen. Nathan Yankee on the top. A couple of men in the slots on both sides. Single set back. That's Gamble behind Pilat. He'll turn, and he'll put it right into the belly of Gamble. And he gets up to maybe the 23-yard line. Give him a pickup of a couple on the carry.
Gamble on the carry.
They officially marked that first down at about the 22-yard line. So we're only going to give him a yard to the 23.
23-yard line, 2nd and 9 for the Red Raiders.
One of the things you'll learn real quickly, Steve, is I'm always off by a yard. Folks at home go, if he says 21, it's 22. We know. Raiders break the huddle once again and come out in the same formation. Wideouts left and right, 2 in the slot, and Gamble behind Pilat, who tucks it under center. He'll take, and they'll turn and they'll go off the left-hand side. And not much running room over there.
And Caleb Overman again on the hits.
We're going to have to take a little bit closer look, but that might actually be
Caden Sengbush.
Yep.
Yeah,
Backup
no Austin
quarterback
Pilat.
Caden Sengbush is starting. We were told it was going to be Austin, but maybe just during the workout tightened up a little bit. So after a gain of 1 now, it's going to be a 3rd down for the Raiders. And 8 yards to go, ball at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, last week we saw Caden Sengbush and Preston Spray at quarterback in that late in that second half for the Red Raiders.
This time only a wide out on the bottom of the screen. And they give the handoff, and it's not going anywhere as Gamble is corralled and pulled down way back at the 19-yard line. Boy, they let him continue to spin him backwards. Did not give him very good forward progress on that. Not that it would have mattered much, but I think they'll mark it officially at the 20-yard line. So a 3 and out for the Raiders. And they'll have to punt it away. Dylan Lisitza will do the honors for Rapids. And right now, as I say, Papermakers weren't going to put anybody back, but now they jog out Mason Lawton. Will do the return honors as he stands back at his own 38-yard line. So Lisitza at about the 10-yard line, waiting the snap from center. And he's going to run it a little bit to his right, kick it away. It's kind of a sidewise wobble that's going to be picked up at the 50-yard line and break some tackles at the 45, 40, turn the corner, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and he's finally knocked out of bounds. What looked like a dangerous play by Lawton turns into be pure genius. And they're going to say that he stepped out at the 9-yard line. 1st and goal to goal for Kimberly, and that's the way you want to start out a game if you're the Papermakers.
Yeah, disastrous. It looked like, as you mentioned, to recover the ball, but then able to come up with it and get it back, and as you mentioned, a huge gain to start for the Papermakers here on their first drive.
So Caden Pendleton, the quarterback, 6'6", 176-pound sophomore. But before we can run play number one, Raiders going to take a timeout. We'll step out with them. You're listening to AM 1320 WFHR as well as ZaleskiSports.com. Back with more after this.
For over 50 years, Abbey Bank has been providing financial services to local families and businesses. What makes us different? We make banking about you. We have a strong partnership with the communities we serve, helping families grow, helping business grow, and celebrating important moments with new programs and facilities, support for our youth, and help for those most in need. Abbey Bank invests in its communities and gives back locally, with locations in Abbotsford, Appleton, Gresham, Medford, Shawano, Wausau, and Weston. Abbey Bank is rated 5 stars by Bauer Financial and is an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back here at Kimberly as we come out of the TO, and first and goal to goal for the Papermakers on their first offensive play of the ball game. As they'll set it up with a man in front and in back of Pendleton, put a man in motion towards the bottom of the screen, and they'll hand it off to Marsall, and he doesn't get a whole lot of room, maybe to the 7.5-yard line. Give him a gain of about a yard on that. Bring up a second down and goal from, I believe, just outside the 7-yard line. So the Papermakers going to huddle it up. Back at about the 18-yard line, break the huddle, put 2 wideouts to the left. And a single set back now behind Pendleton. Waits for the snap in the shotgun formation. He'll take and give it to Martzall. He'll go off the right side once again. Just going between center and guard, nothing fancy. And it's down to about the 6-yard line. Bring up a third and goal to goal. Block ice on the tackle for Rapids. So now third and goal to goal for the Papermakers. As Pendleton stands on the 10-yard line. Shifts a couple of players from the right to the left. An early movement by the left tackle. I think they're going to get the infraction on Quinton Wynn. 6'2", 249-pound junior. They got some big boys.
Yeah, they do, and they taking full advantage of that early on. Rapids doing a good job in the trenches to slow down Kimberly with the run, but now they have to really get gung-ho right now and stop them on the third and goal from back behind the 10.
Shift the 2 players from the left to the right this time. Man in the slot on the left, wide out on the top on the right. And they'll fake the handoff. They set up a screen on the left side. They got it set up well. They got a touchdown, Papermakers, as that pass went to Caleb Fraser, the 6'1", 190-pound junior. And the first third and goal from the 11 turns into a touchdown for Kimberly. And they grab the early 6-0 lead with 7:25 to go here in quarter number 1. So Mason Lawton, the kicker, to attempt the PAT. Lines are set. Ball is snapped. It's on the ground. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. And with 7:25 to go in period number 1, Kimberly draws first blood. They lead it 7-0. We'll step out. Back with more from Kimberly right after this.
Not feeling on your game lately? Let the pros at Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health help. With a roster that includes psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, licensed clinical social workers, and nurses. These all-stars are helping meet our community's need for mental health and substance abuse services. Start your comeback today with the help of Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Everybody likes a winner, right? There are good reasons to love First Weber, too. They're Wisconsin's largest and most successful real estate firm every year. Go to firstweber.com and find out things like how much your home is worth, or which First Weber agent to contact. You can even see how the First Weber agents are rated. First Weber is the human side of real estate, which is why they win every year. Go to firstweber.com and see what winning looks like.
Cam Zibel has it teed up once again at the 40-yard line with 7:25 to go in period number 1. Papermakers at home, Division 1, Level 1, take the early 7-0 lead. He puts foot to ball. It's end over end. Peter Rucker bobbles it at the 8, picks it up at the 7, fakes the reverse, takes it up the middle, 10, 15, 20. Got some running room, 25, 30, 35, stiff arms a man at the 40, 50, into Papermaker territory before he's finally knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Kimberly, and that's a great return for Peter Rucker.
Yeah, that's kind of what we saw on that punt return for Kimberly. Kind of bobbled, didn't know what to do with it, and turned a disaster into a great gain on their kickoff.
A lot of times that happens, you get that disruption. Everybody's running down their lanes. They see the ball's kind of bobbled. They kind of get out of their lanes, and if you can get outside, as we saw both teams now able to do, turned into big returns for each.
Pilat back out there.
Good to see Austin out there. I think we'll see him see how that ankle holds up a little bit here. He's going to let it fly on a 3-step drop. Now he's got to roll to his right under some duress, throws it downfield and out of bounds. And at least he did not absorb a hit, but he was being chased out there by DeAndre Williams, linebacker, 6 foot, 179-pound junior for the Papermakers.
Yeah, that's something that we didn't see on that opening drive, a pass play. I mean, Austin came out firing right away. Caden Sengbush, a couple of easy handoff plays to his running backs, and see if Austin continues to throw here on second down.
You probably can't blame him. Caden probably got a little nerves, and you just don't want to have a turnover back at your own 20 either. Now that they got a little better field position, not afraid to put it up in the air. 2 running backs now behind Pilat. He'll put a man in motion towards the left. That's Schooley, handed off to Versian Gamble. Breaks some tackles at the 45-40, down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. And 1st and 10 for Versian on the little 13-yard burst.
Yeah, another nice run by Versian, a very good downhill runner, has the perfect frame, 5'5", 183, and a hard runner to take down.
Talking to a few folks that have seen more of the Rapids games than I, and they said he's hard to see back there. He gets behind those big offensive linemen and can hit those holes and does a nice job of it. And we've seen that right there. So Nathan Yankee will split out to the bottom of the screen. On top is Dylan Lazitza, and Versian, the lone back, and they'll flip it forward to Nathan Schooley. Doesn't have much running room, but then he cuts it back to the middle and goes right between the hash marks to the, looks like he's at the 30, but I think they're going to mark him back at the 31-yard line and say it's only a pickup of 2 on the play. Ran about 12 yards. Down to the midpoint of quarter number 1. This is the second offensive series for the Raiders, while the Papermakers had a 5-play drive that went 9 yards, but they got an 11-yard touchdown thanks to the penalty. One of those cool stats. Second down, about 7 yards to go for Rapids. Straight drop for Pilat, looking down the left sideline, double coverage, and it's caught! Lisitsa inside the 10, all the way down to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal to go Rapids.
As we mentioned, just throw it up to Dylan Lazitza, and he goes and makes the play. Another great play made by Dylan Lazitza on a nice pass by Austin Pilat.
And a great call by Steve Mays. You were talking about that in the pregame, weren't you?
Yeah, and I mean, he's favorite target, second leading receiver in the conference, and Dylan going up and making another nice play.
5 minutes and 41 seconds. Clock stops as he was knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line. 1st and goal to goal Rapids. Lisitsa is the lone wideout on this. A little confusion at the line of scrimmage. And I think timeout can be taken by Rapids. The entire offensive line was switching sides of the field. That's kind of unique. And they said, we better call timeout. We don't want to mess this up. So while they take a timeout, Steve, why don't we just take a 30-second timeout if that's possible? You're listening to AM 1320 FHR.
Why do teenagers play high school sports? Some participate for a sense of purpose, some play to inspire others, and some for the friendships they develop. Very few mention they participate to get an athletic scholarship because they know that less than 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. Whatever the reason for playing, student athletes enjoy the benefits of participation, including making better decisions. A message from station WFHR and the WIAA, keeping the education in sports.
Back here at Papermakers Stadium, Kimberly, a little suburb of Appleton. Number 2 team in the state, according to WIS Sports, behind only Muskego. Right now, they lead at 7-0. However, Raiders with a 1st and goal to goal on the 6-yard line of Kimberly. They hand it off to Version Gamble as he tries to spin out the outside. He does 2 360s before he's brought down at the 5-yard line. That was a lot of work for a yard, Steve.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Version just a tough runner and hard to take down, and he keeps on running as we saw on that first drive until the whistle blows, and just a tough runner, and see if he can get into the end zone.
2nd and goal to goal. Ball on the 5-yard line. This time the Raiders going to run Lisitza out to the right side. They go man coverage on him with Griffin Weigel. Might be something they're going to try to exploit. They pitch it forward. Oh, that looked like it was going to go for a ways, but immediately Nathan Schooley got the shuttle pass. It was brought down by DeAndre Williams. That's already twice I've called his name here tonight.
Yeah, and that's a play where they're hoping the defense will go after the pitch guy and not see Schooley coming across the line, but Kimberly read it perfectly, and it's going to be 3rd down and goal.
They gave him a yard, maybe a yard and a half on that. Ball looks like it's resting about between the 3 and the 4-yard lines. And now it's 3rd and goal to goal as Yankee splits out to the left, Lisitza to the right. Eric Haupt now joins Gamble in the backfield. Flags fly before the throw can go up. Would have been caught out of the end zone by Lisitza, but no play. Probably early movement is what I'm guessing. If they stop the play, that's what it usually is. Legal procedure on Rapids. Move it back to the 9-yard line.
9-yard line. 3rd and goal to go, Red Raiders.
This will be the 9th play of the drive for the Raiders. And now they could have, just like the last for Kimberly, where they got a touchdown on 1st and goal from the 9. They got an 11-yard touchdown. Rapids could do the same. They had a 1st and goal from the 6. They could get a touchdown from the 9. Let's see if they do. 4 minutes exactly to go in quarter number 1. Pilot gets the snap. 2-step drop. Looking, pumps, throws, and overshoots the intended receiver. And I think Lisitza is looking at the side judge like maybe got grabbed a little bit, but no flag. And the ball falls incomplete. And it'll be 4th and goal from the 9. And Rapids going to trot out the field goal unit.
Yeah, just got to get some points on the board right now. Failed on goal to go. See if they can get something on the board here against Kimberly.
So Mac Lucas will come on out to attempt the field goal from the 16-yard line. So it'll be a 26-yard kick. So the lines are set. The ball is down. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. Just crawled over the crossbar. And with 3:45 to go in period number 1, Rapids has cut the lead to 4, 7-3. Let's take a 1-minute timeout. You're listening to AM 1320 WFHR as well as ZaleskiSports.com.
Join the roster at Aspirus Riverview Hospital and Clinics. Whether you're a rookie or an old pro, Aspirus Riverview Scouts are looking for players with MVP potential. And you don't need to be a medical professional to make the team. There are opportunities in a wide variety of careers. Apply for a tryout today at aspirus.org/careers. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Here at Rapid Sheet Metal Heating and Cooling, your comfort experts, we just want to make sure our customers stay comfy and cozy this winter. Call us to schedule an annual checkup for your furnace or to take advantage of specials on a brand new Lennox home comfort system, up to $1,600 in rebates. Get comfortable. Call Rapid Sheet Metal Heating and Cooling, your comfort experts, at 715-421-5555 today, or visit us online at rapidsheetmetal.com. It's just another way we make you feel better.
Back here at Papermakers Stadium, Rapids has trimmed the lead to 7-3. Lucas puts football, kind of a pop-up that's going to come down at the 36-yard line, caught out of the air, and kneeling it down for Kimberly is the quarterback, Connor Pendleton. It's kind of a, excuse me, that was not the quarterback, Connor Pendleton, was it? Brother of Caden Pendleton, Connor. So they'll start 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line of Kimberly. Not quite the field position they had last time.
Yeah, and that was just a little pooch kick to try and get Kimberly off guard, but the Papermakers ready right in front of their own bench.
Shift a man in motion from one side of the formation to the left side, and they'll take and they'll hand it off to Marsall, and not a lot doing there as he gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Good defensive effort that time for the Raiders. And coming off the bottom of the pile for the Raiders is Chandler Brewing, 6'1", 263-pound senior for the Raiders. 2nd and 10, 3:20 and counting here in quarter number 1 from Kimberly. Papermakers on top, 7-3, shotgun formation. Pendleton takes and puts a man in motion. He'll flip it forward to that man in motion. That's Winnick, and he is going to be brought down back inside the 35-yard line. A loss to the 34-yard line for a loss of 2. And you could maybe heard the entire team from Rapids on the far side explode when they made that tackle for a couple-yard loss. And it'll bring up now 3rd down and 12.
Yeah, Rapids has done a good job against the run so far tonight. They just had that one slip up on the screen pass, but they've defended the run pretty well so far.
Splitting out wideouts left and right. Winnick is on the bottom of the screen for the Papermakers. Single set back right next to Pendleton. He's looking for Winnick, and he undershoots him. And the Raiders get a 3-and-out. So, for all intents and purposes, they're going to have to punt it away. Be interesting. That's one stat I did not look up. How many times they punted this year?
Yeah, probably not very many. Like we mentioned, a couple of close games, but the close games were high-scoring games. So we'll see how the punter does here as Dylan Lazitz is back to return.
We were told Brett Peroni was the punter, but they ran out Carter Hamilton to do so instead. So he catches at his 20, puts foot to ball. It's a little bit wobbly, and it's caught at the 31-yard line by Lazitz, and he's brought down at his own 35. So the Raiders will take over from there, 1st and 10, trailing only 7-3, and tell you what, this might be a little bit surprising to some folks, but we're loving it.
Yeah, absolutely, and they came out ready. Rapids did. Austin Pilot didn't play in that first drive, but really commanded the offense on that second drive. Went down and got 3 points right back out there as their senior quarterback.
So to the bottom of the screen, split out, 2 wideouts for Rapids. And one on top of the screen as well. 2 running backs in the back pocket of Pilot. He'll put it into the belly of the second back through, and that's Versian, who is brought down for no gain at the 36-yard line. Bring up 2nd down and 10. Logan Wilson in on the tackle for Kimberly. 2nd and 10. Under 2 minutes now remaining here in period number 1. Just joining us, 7-3 Papermakers. They only had to cover 9 yards on their opening possession after a big punt return of about 40 yards. Rapids now with their 3rd possession of the ball game. 3-step drop, slant pattern. Lasitza had it go off of his hands, and I wouldn't doubt he heard some footsteps because he got sandwiched by 2 Papermaker defenders.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays. Again, Dylan goes up and makes plays. It gets a lot of defenders that time, 4 Papermakers around him, just unable to correct or come down with it. And as you mentioned, probably hearing some footsteps. But Austin Pilat giving the wide receiver Lazitza chances, giving it or having confidence in him to go up and get the ball.
Don Chesborough is always keeping us updated on scores from around the state. And here's a shocker. Stratford up over Spooner 21-0 in quarter 2.
Yeah, kind of surprising. It's only 21.
That was the shocker part of it, yes. Again, 3-step drop. They're going to throw it out over here to Schooley. Overshoots the intended receiver at about the 39-yard line. And defending on the play for the Papermakers was Briar Bargland, 5'7", 154-pound junior. And the Raiders going to have to punt it away again for the second time tonight. And it looks like they send back Mason Lawton, who had the big return the first time for Kimberly. He waits at about his own 26-yard line. Snap is good. Lazitza barely gets it away. It's going to land at the 38-yard line, and the Papermakers scatter. They're lucky that didn't bounce off one of their legs, and it's finally down by Rapids at the 30-yard line by Garrett Juneman. And it'll be 1st and 10 with $1:13 to go here in period number 1 from Kimberly, where the Papermakers lead it 7-3.
Yeah, and Rapids has done pretty well defensively so far. Again, they only gave up that little 9-yard possession that resulted in the touchdown, but overall they've kept their own so far.
Man in motion towards the top of the screen, left to right across your radio dial towards AM 1320. Little keeper this time by Martzel, who's playing quarterback. He's got the edge. 40, 50, 45, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Papermakers. And they take a 13-3 lead. And we knew that would coming in. Alec Martzel would play a little bit of QB, and he took the snap that time and took it 70 yards. And the Papermakers now on by 10. And once again looking to add on with the point after is Cam Zebel. Lines are set. Snap is good. Kick is on the way, and the kick is good. And that didn't take long. 13 seconds. And now Kimberly leads it 14-3. Time for another quick timeout. You're listening to AM 1320 FHR.
Is joint pain keeping you on the bench? A joint replacement at Aspirus Riverview Joint Center can get you back in the game. You'll be cared for by a winning team of surgeons, nurses, and therapists who specialize in joint replacement. 98% of patients give Aspirus Riverview Joint Center the highest rating available and say they would recommend them to family and friends. Start your comeback today with help from the pros at Aspirus Riverview Joint Center. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
At Kimberly, where the Papermakers now increase their lead to 14-3. And Zebel has it teed up at the 40-yard line. As we finish up some quick stats here. And whistle blows. Zebel gives some last moments instructions to his teammates. They all split out, 5 to the left and 5 to the right. And he approaches the football and kicks kind of a knuckleball that hits at the 28-yard line. Picked up by one of the upmen at the 20, break it to the 30, break it towards the near sideline, and big hit that time. You could hear it all the way up here. The return was Leo Brostowitz, 175, 5'8", just a freshman. He pops right up and heads over to the sideline, and Rapids will take over 1st and 10. They'll say officially at their own 34-yard line.
Rapids at 34-yard line. 1st and 10, Red Raiders.
So Rapids now finding themselves.
6-yard line.
Oh, they switched it from the 34 to the 36. I'm not the only one who gets it wrong. Even the officials do sometimes.
Now see if Rapids can answer right back. Kimberly stalled them last time. We'll see if Austin Pilot and Coach Spiolo have something in mind.
It's on the top of the screen, the only wideout in this formation. Give it to Gamble. Goes up the middle and then breaks it to the outside, and he runs out of bounds. They'll say at the 39-yard line.
Forced up by 27, Sanders.
Pickup of 3 on the carry. 2nd down and 7 for Rapids. And with him running out of bounds, clock stops with 47 ticks remaining in this first period. And the Papermakers, 1 long punt return, 1 long run from the line of scrimmage. That's the difference in our ball game thus far, as they lead it 14-3. Lisitsa stands way on the top 40-yard line marker. Pilot will roll to his left. He's in trouble, and down he goes. That's one thing that he's going to be limited by the bad ankle. And he got hit back at the 36-yard line, and he just went down for a loss of 3, brings up 3rd down and 10. You know he isn't going to be very mobile with that foot and ankle injury.
Yeah, and that was a perfect defensive play by Kimberly. They had the quarterback covered, they had the pitch man covered, and you don't want to flip it back to possibly have a fumble. So a smart play by Pilot, losing 3 yards though, but still not giving up on the turnover.
The way the Raiders are acting, it's as if they don't have to run another play. I thought that ball was marked for play before there was 25 ticks left, but evidently I was wrong, and we have come to the end of period number 1. Where the scoreboard reads, Kimberly Papermakers 14, the Wisconsin Rapids Red Raiders 3. We'll step out. You're listening to Lincoln Red Raider football here on AM 1320 WFHR and ZaleskiSports.com.
Sports injuries are increasingly common for high school and college athletes, weekend warriors, and elite pros. Knees, shoulders, and elbows are complex structures. Wisconsin River Orthopedics features skilled board-certified orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine specialists willing and able to get you back in action. They also offer in-house physical and occupational therapy, which may be all you need. For the most effective solutions relieving pain and restoring lives right here in Wisconsin Rapids, contact WROinstitute.com or call 424-1881.
A great opportunity exists for people who enjoyed sports as participants and would like to give back to the game that means so much to them. Becoming a high school game official gives you the opportunity to get involved, get in shape, and help teach the game to young people. Signing up is easy. To become a WIAA licensed official, go online at WIAAWI.org to apply and become a WIAA licensed official. A message from WFHR and the WIAA, keeping the education in sports.
Back here at Papermakers Stadium as the 3rd and 10 for Rapids. A little down and out from Pilot to Lisitsa. Boy, I'll tell you what, he looked like he caught that at the 46-yard line. I thought it was going to be right at the stick. And they marked him no forward progress. They marked it back at the 40. That was very unfortunate mark that time for Rapids. But you know what? I think they're going to go for it. 4th and 1. You're the underdog. You're at your own 45. I like it.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, it's a down that you're able to get with a running back like Versian Gamble. We'll see if they hand it off to him.
Pilot takes, gives it to Gamble, off right side, got the first down as he's up to the 47-yard line before he's pushed back. As long as they don't mark him back to the 41. Should be a first down.
Yeah, the Kimberly guys were coming up, holding the ball, but easily forward progress up to about, was that the 48-yard line?
1st and 10 Rapids at the 48-yard line. Yeah, I like the attitude. Your kids, your players too. If you're Coach Biolo, his kid's got to be going, yeah, Coach, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's pull out all the stops. Let's go for it. Why not? Playing the number 1 seed, the number 2 team in the state, we'll go for it, right? Show your kids that we're going for it. And they got it, thanks to Versian. 1st and 10 now. Ball at the Rapids 48-yard line. Schooley in motion. Comes across the box. Version hits a hole. He was one arm tackle away from going the distance. That's touchdown saving tackle was made by Caleb Oberman, 5'11", 171-pound senior. Wow.
Yeah, that burst of speed that Version's got is hard to match. And as you mentioned, a touchdown saving tackle there made by the linebacker.
The only other guys back were the two corners, and they were way on the sidelines. And Version was in between the hash marks. He would have gone the distance. Second down and 3 yards to go now from the Kimberly 45-yard line. Two backs in the back pocket, and timeout going to be taken by Coach Jones, I believe.
Timeout, Kimberly.
Yep, Coach Steve Jones says we need to talk about this a little bit as well. 10:25 remaining here in quarter number 2. Rapids trailing 14-3. We'll step out. You're listening to Red Raider Football FHR.
Not feeling on your game lately? Let the pros at Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health help. With a roster that includes psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, licensed clinical social workers, and nurses. These all-stars are helping meet our community's need for mental health and substance abuse services. Start your comeback today with the help of Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Back here at Kimberly, as the Papermakers lead it 14-3. I want to remind everybody that immediately following a Red Raider football or 9:30, we're going to have football Friday night for you from WIS Sports, Travis Wilson and the gang. And then tomorrow, what would have been even a more huge game, lost a little bit of its, how should you say it?
Juice.
Maybe.
Hype.
Badgers at the Shoe, taking on number 3 Ohio State. So Rapids now, second down, 3 yards to go, 45-yard line of Kimberly. Pilat back to throw, going to go down the sideline, going to go for it all, and it is caught by Lazitza. 20, 15, knocked out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. They'll say the 11. That's twice now Stevie's gone up and made a great catch.
Yeah, one of the best in the conference, and showing it right there. They continue to go man-to-man against Lazitza and putting all their eggs in one basket, and Austin Pilat and Lazitza making them pay again.
So the Raiders can get a first down at the 1 yard. It's one of the worst places I always feel you can be on the field, the 11-yard line. You can get it's basically first and goal because it's tough to get a first down inside the 1, but it can happen. It's good to be at the 11-yard line, however. If you're a Raider fan. Schooley in motion. They flip it to him. He's going around the right side. No, he was grabbed at the 10 and hog-tied and brought back down.
Nathan Schooley on the carry. 44.
Yeah, they tried the little flip pass in front of Pilat to Schooley and read it again perfectly, did the Papermakers, as it's going to be second down and maybe gained a half a yard.
Looks like the nose of the ball pretty close from our angle to about the 10-yard line. Already down to 9 minutes and 50 seconds here in quarter number 2. Papermakers on top of Wisconsin Rapids, 14-3. Play comes in from Coach Biolo sideline. Got a Coach Biolo on both sidelines here tonight. Couple of wideouts to the left of the screen, also one on top. 2 men behind Pilat, little pump fake, throws it through the hands of the intended receiver at the goal line, and that intended receiver went down pretty hard, and for Rapids, that's their kicker, Mac Lucas. And it'll bring up a third down and 9 yards to go.
Yeah, Pilat had to put it where Lucas went up and tried to get it, but the defenders, one right in front of Lucas and one right behind him, and unable to come down with it.
So the clock stops on the incompletion, 9:23 to go in quarter number 2. And Rapids faced with a third down. They can get a first down inside the 1, but it's 3rd and 9. Pilat gets the snap. He'll hand it off, and whistles blow before they can get the play underway, and I think we're going to get procedure on Rapids.
Yeah, that's a killer there. 3rd down and 9. Now it's going to be 3rd down and 14 It's going to be third and long for Wisconsin Rapids. Dylan Lazitza goes to the sideline to get the play, and we saw it at Wausau West last week where the play would come in from the far side and the ball would be on the near hash. The guy running in the play would tell him what the play was, so he didn't have to come all the way to the huddle and waste a little bit of energy, and kind of did the same thing there. As I don't think he's going to go to the huddle.
You get to the middle of the field, it's almost 30 yards from the sideline. And if you're on the near hash mark, it's even more, obviously. So Schooley now on the bottom of the screen. Lazitza on the top. Those are the two wideouts. And they will hand it off to Gamble, and he'll go off the right side between guard and tackle and get thrown back after he got to the 11-yard line. So basically, that's where they started this 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Now let's see what Coach Biolo decides. Will he go for it here from the, they're going to say more like the 12-yard line, or though they attempt the field goal.
12-yard line.
They're going to try it again. Last week struggled with extra points, giving Mac Lucas another opportunity here. 29-yard field goal for Mac Lucas.
Number 8, Caden Sengbush.
So Sengbush sitting at the 19-yard line, arm extended. Snap is to his right. He pulls it back down. The kick is on the way, and the kick is no good, just a little bit wide right. And so the Papermakers hold.
Tough snap. Sengbush able to get it down, but not quite with the pressure coming in from the Papermakers. Able to just miss it just barely. Mac Lucas close on the 29-yard field goal.
So the ball goes out to the 20-yard line of Kimberly, where they will begin their 4th series of the night. Another update from Don Chesborough back at our studios. Everest leading Appleton East 27-0 in quarter number 2. And Marshfield and Superior tied at 16s, also in the second quarter. So thank you, Don. Appreciate that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kimberly with a 14-3 lead and 8 minutes and 4 seconds to go in period number 2 with their ball handed off to Martzel, and he is going to break a few tackles and continue his journey up the far side of the field to the 29-yard line. They're going to say it was Frazier, not Martzel, 33 and not 3. When he's running away from you, you only see one of the 3s and not both of them. So they're going to give him 9 yards on that carry.
2nd and 1 for the Bakers.
Kimberly breaking the huddle. They'll send out 2 wideouts to the bottom of the screen, tight end on the top. Martzel, the quarterback this time. He's going to go back to throw, and he's going to look downfield for a man at the 50, and it's off the hands of the intended receiver. That was Connor Wennick. And in on the coverage for Rapids was Gabe Zwicky.
Yeah, and there's a flag standing right at the 25-yard line looking like it's going against the Papermakers.
Possibly in the area of holding?
Yep. Yeah, and that's going to be big because instead of 2nd and 1, or 3rd and 1 now, it's going to be 2nd and 11 for Kimberly. And ball just underthrown by Kimberly. Otherwise, Yernick was big opportunity to make a big play.
So the hold takes place at the 25-yard line, so they will march it all the way back to the 15. Well, they'll say the 16 now. 10-yard penalty, and they stepped off 9. So it ends up being a loss of 13 on the 10-yard hold.
2nd and 14 for the Bakers.
2nd down for Kimberly. Man slides across the screen towards the top of it. They'll hand it off to Fraser, and he goes down at the 19-yard line, pickup of 3.
Hit by 47, Keegan Christie.
Yeah, another nice play by Wisconsin Rapids defensively. A huge opportunity right now for Rapids to get off the field after not being able to score on their last drive, and gave up a big run on 1st down, which was at that point 2nd and 1. Big hold to push them back and big opportunity to get off the field.
Kimberly will split wideouts left and right. Martzall remains in at quarterback. He stands at about his own 15-yard line. They fake the little forward flip, and they're going to throw it over the middle. Got a man, almost intercepted, and it goes through the hands of the Raider defender, and it is grabbed and caught for a first down at the 36-yard line. Oh my, that's unfortunate for Rapids.
Yeah, when you're playing at home, you get those bounces, and Kimberly, when you're at home and you're one of the top teams in the state and have won as much as they have, all the right bounces go your way.
And a perfect example right there.
Yeah.
So fresh set of downs for the Makers with 5:55 to go in the first half of play. And the ball at their own 36-yard line. Fake the handoff. Martzell going to keep it. Got running room up the middle. 40, 45. Midfield and across midfield to the 48-yard line before he's finally brought down. But not before he picks up 16 yards on the carry. And now into Raider territory at the 48-yard line. Martzell's quick.
Yeah, those Kimberly runners able to get those, get to the holes and able to bust through the offense and defensive lines. As we've seen with Versian Gamble, just a huge burst of speed to get through the holes and pick up another first down.
Wennick is on top of the screen in this formation for the Papermakers. They'll slide a man towards that side. Pitch it back to Fraser. He's going to get across the 45 and be brought down at the 40-yard line. Pickup of a quick 8 yards as he skirts the left edge. And it'll be second down and 2. Exactly 5 minutes remain, and now a late flag just came flying from the head linesman.
Yeah, and when you get a big run on first down, that sets up for a lot of you can open up the playbook for your offensive coordinator or head coach that you can really run anything offensively to pick up those 2 yards. Got a couple of opportunities, and now we'll see what the penalty is.
One doubt it might be unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Wisconsin Rapids.
Somebody must have seen something happen, and they were in the ear of the head linesman, and they shared with him their feelings, and he didn't like the sharing.
Yeah, yeah, it was, again, a late flag, but came in right in front of the Rapids bench, and again, we will obviously never know what gets said down there between coaches, players, and referees, but a big first down for Kimberly.
We're pretty sure it wasn't. You're doing a nice job, sir.
Yeah.
They're going to go for it all. Martzell lets it fly for the Wennick at the end zone. Touchdown! Martzell to Wennick from 25 yards out, and the Makers increase their lead now to 20-3.
Yeah, had him open in the corner of the end zone, had 2 defenders near him, but nice pitch and catch, and add another one, 20-3.
So, once again, Cam Zabel on to attempt the PAT for the Papermakers. The lines are set. The snap is low, but good. And it's almost blocked, but the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. And with 4:38 remaining in half number 1, Kimberly increases its lead to 21-3. As we step out, you're listening to LHS Football, FHR.
Everybody likes a winner, right? There are good reasons to love First Weber, too. They're Wisconsin's largest and most successful real estate firm every year. Go to firstweber.com and find out things like how much your home is worth or which First Weber agent to contact. You can even see how the First Weber agents are rated. First Weber is the human side of real estate, which is why they win every year. Go to firstweber.com and see what winning looks like.
Back here at Kimberly as Alec Martzell hooks up with Mr. Wennick. And Connor takes it in from 30 yards out. It was an 8-play, 80-yard drive. And with the Zabel PAT, the lead now 18 points for the Papermakers, 21-3. So Zabel approaches the ball, kicks it towards the far side of the field. It's grabbed at the 18-yard line and returned up the far sideline. Peter Rucker will take it across the 30 at 35 to about the 37-yard line. Nice little return that time for Peter.
Yeah, Peter's had some nice return, or a nice return in the first quarter. Another nice one here in the second quarter. But again, a couple of big runs for Kimberly on that last drive. A lucky pitch and catch across the middle to pick up a first down, and then being helped out by the unsportsmanlike penalty, and then a beautiful pass and catch in the corner of the end zone for the Papermakers.
So we'll see what the Raiders decide to do here on 1st and 10.
Again, Wisconsin Rapids has been able to march down the field. Just only one field goal, missed the last field goal.
Here's the fake on the handoff to Gamble, and Pilat going to keep it. And he's met at the 41-yard line, and the big frame falls forward to about the 43-yard line. We'll give him a pickup of, not the 43, excuse me, the 38. Pickup of only 1 on the carry. Wishful thinking on my part. Just about 2/3 of the way through quarter number 2, 21-3 Papermakers.
And Austin came off the field limping, got a tap on the helmet as he exited the field. That was kind of the play that he got hurt on last week. On an option play, took it himself in the middle and got rolled up on, and don't want to see it, but Austin Pilat walking around trying to gingerly walk off the pain.
Preston Spray will come in at quarterback for Rapids, and he puts the ball in the belly of Versian. He's hit backwards, but then breaks free and crosses the 40 to the 41-yard line. So great effort that time by Versian to turn what looked like was going to be a 1-yard loss into a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, and that's what's tough with a quarterback like Preston Spray or Caden Sengbush, is that they're just not as tall as Austin Pilat, and the advantage that Versian has of being so short behind that offensive line is a detriment to what Spray and Sengbush have to not be able to see over the line and run into what is a very good Kimberly defense.
So Spray surveys the defense with wideouts left and right, and he'll pitch it backwards to the running back, who's going to get to the 40-yard line, being Peter Rucker, and he'll lose a couple on the carry. And it'll bring up 4th down for Rapids, and they have to get up to the 47-yard line with 2:34 to go. And now it'll be interesting to see what Coach Biolo decides to do here. Pretty big chunk of real estate to cover here, and you are down to the last 2 minutes and change. Do you get rid of it here and try to hope your defense holds them and keep it to 21-3 at the break?
Well, and that's what's tough with a quarterback, that when your quarterback is out like Pilat is, just unable to really pass it down the field and have big plays, as it's going to be a delay of game penalty by Wisconsin Rapids. They took a very, very long time. It's going to be 4th down and even longer now.
Yeah, just basically trying to get rid of as much time off the first half clock as they could. So with the penalty, that'll move it back to the 35-yard line, where Lisitsa will punt it away. We're assuming anyway he's going to punt it away.
Yeah, had a fake punt, successful fake punt last week, and another penalty.
This one coming from the white hat, the referee.
As they might have had too many men on the field for Wisconsin Rapids. They'll march illegal substitution, I think. Marching back again.
Yeah, the 12th man just ran off the field, so
Illegal substitution against Rapids.
back to the 30 we go.
So we got some other scores Colby up 14-6. 12-6 Bloomer over Spencer Columbus. Auburndale up 7-6 on Marcus Ann.
Okay. So a couple of local teams also in playoff action here tonight as Lisitsa's punt is away and it goes out of bounds on the far side of the field at the 40-yard line. So Kimberly will take over 1st and 10. Starting in their own territory with just $1.41 remaining here in half number 1. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach Jones decides to play this final $1.41. Leading it here 21-3. Martzell is in at quarterback once. He played a lot of the quarterback here in half number 1. There's a throw down field, and it is caught once again by Connor Winnick, and he's got it at the 42-yard line of Rapids.
Yeah, and they're getting up to the line right away. 2 timeouts left, and now Rapids is trying to substitute. And they march it back maybe a yard, so Rapids able to get all their guys off. 18
yards on that pitch and catch. Pressure coming. A little screen pass over the middle. Oh, the knee was down, it looked like, by Fraser, but he went down low. I almost thought he had the knee on the ground, but they had a much better view than I did, and they said nope. He just got up and continued to run and took it all the way to the 28-yard line, so 14 yards.
Yeah, it sure looked like he got his knee down, but Kimberly had something in mind right away coming back onto the field and had all their plays figured out.
Here's a pass to Winnick again, and he's got it. And he is brought down at the 13-yard line. And Juneman on the tackle for Rapids. And we still got 1:11 to go because every time they pick up the first down, clock stops. And they got to move the chains. And now they wind it. We're down to the final 63 seconds. Here's the handoff to Fraser. He's going off the left side. 10, 5, stopped at the 2, maybe the 3. Has to be very close to the stick. The head linesman stops the clock.
55 Spencer Hawks on the
Does he give him a 1st and goal? He does. 1st and goal to goal for the Papermakers.
Again, we see it during every defensive possession for Kimberly. They have their whole offense ready, and this time they had their plays figured out.
They've had the ball for 1 minute and a second right now, and Fraser just walked it into the end zone. 5 plays on that drive, 60 yards, and Kimberly now leads it 27-3. So Zebel will come on. He's been a busy young man here tonight to attempt the PAT. Lines are set. Snap is a little bit high, but down it goes, and up goes the kick, and one more point goes on the board. And with 36 ticks to go in half number 1, Kimberly leads it by the score of 28-3. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to Lincoln Football FHR.
Sports injuries are increasingly common for high school and college athletes, weekend warriors, and elite pros. Knees, shoulders, and elbows are complex structures. Wisconsin River Orthopedics features skilled board-certified orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine specialists willing and able to get you back in action. They also offer in-house physical and occupational therapy, which may be all you need for the most effective solutions relieving pain and restoring lives right here in Wisconsin Rapids. Contact WROinstitute.com or call 424-1881.
Back here at Kimberly as Caleb Fraser takes it in from 3 yards out. 5-play, 60-yard drive. And the PAT makes it 28-3, Kimberly, with 36 seconds remaining before halftime. So Zebel walks all the way back to the 31-yard line and then a little bit towards Rapids sideline, and the soccer-style kicker approaches, puts foot to ball, and he squibs it along the ground, and One of the up men for Rapids grabs it and falls down immediately so that there would not be any turnover. Grabbing that ball for the Raiders was Spencer Hawks, 5'11", 196-pound junior for the Raiders.
Ball marked at the Rapids 26-yard line. First and 10, Red Raiders.
Austin Pilot going to come out in QB here in the final 35 ticks.
Yeah, and if you're a Rapids fan, that's great to see. Again, he was hobbling off the field and that during that last drive on that quarterback on that option play. Great to see him come back onto the field.
They'll split three people out to the right, and now the referee, the white hat, throws the flag.
Yeah, another late substitution for the Red Raiders.
Yep.
Illegal substitution against Rapids.
So that'll move it back to the 21-yard line. First and 15. Just 35 seconds remaining here before halftime. A little feature for you at halftime. Send it back. And
5-yard penalty, moves the ball back to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, see if we can get it going. We'll
get her going a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
Three wideouts on top of the screen. Pilot, couple step drop, throws out over the middle, and it goes off the hands of the intended receiver. And that's incomplete for Lisitsa. And that took
That's intended for Lisitsa, falls incomplete.
just 6 seconds off the clock. Brings up a second down and
Second down.
10 from the 21-yard line. Play comes in from the sideline. Nathan Yankee splits out to the bottom of the screen. Two wideouts left. Yankee brought the play in. Two to the right. Gamble the only setback behind quarterback Pilot. They'll throw it out here in the flat to Yankee, and gets it up to the 30-yard line, where it's going to bring up a
gain to the 30-yard line.
third down and 6 for Rapids. And they might try to run one more play. They looked back at the clock and said, you know what, we got 3, 2, 1. That's it. Didn't get the play off. And we have come to the end of the first half of play, where the halftime scoreboard reads the Papermakers of Kimberly 28, the Lincoln Red Raiders 3. We'll take a timeout. We'll see if we can't get that halftime feature going for you. We'll do all of that and more. We'll talk about some halftime scoring summaries as well, as you're listening to AM 1320 WFHR, as well as LeskySports.com. Back with more.
Let's be honest, we all love the freedom of choice, right? Paper or plastic, Packers versus Bears, cable TV versus streaming. When it comes to how you get your TV, you have a choice. Stop getting bullied into expensive, bulky cable TV packages when you can stream TV for nearly half the price. Streaming just means you get your TV over the internet instead of cable or a satellite dish. As Central Wisconsin's very own internet service provider, Solaris is happy to offer its customers the freedom to choose how they get their TV. For a limited time, Solaris will even give you a free Roku streaming stick when you sign up for internet, so you can try streaming risk-free. No contracts, free installation, and 24-hour local technical support make Solaris the clear choice. So what do you say? The Solaris team is ready to help you cut the cord and save you money when you use your internet connection to stream TV. Stop and call or visit us at Solaris.net to learn more.
Solaris Media Shower is currently available in Arkdale, Nakusa, Port Edwards, Rudolph, Wisconsin Rapids, and the town of Plover. Certain restrictions may apply.
Not feeling on your game lately? Let the pros at Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health help. With a roster that includes psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, licensed clinical social workers, and nurses. These all-stars are helping meet our community's need for mental health and substance abuse services. Start your comeback today with the help of Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health. Aspirus. Passion for excellence. Compassion for people.
Everybody likes a winner, right? There are good reasons to love First Weber, too. They're Wisconsin's largest and most successful real estate firm every year. Go to firstweber.com and find out things like how much your home is worth or which First Weber agent to contact. You can even see how the First Weber agents are rated. First Weber is the human side of real estate, which is why they win every year. Go to firstweber.com and see what winning looks like.
Join the roster at Aspirus Riverview Hospital and Clinics. Whether you're a rookie or an old pro, Aspirus Riverview Scouts are looking for players with MVP potential. And you don't need to be a medical professional to make the team. There are opportunities in a wide variety of careers. Apply for a tryout today at aspirus.org/careers. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Here at Rapid Sheet Metal Heating and Cooling, your comfort experts, we just want to make sure our customers stay comfy and cozy this winter. Call us to schedule an annual checkup for your furnace or to take advantage of specials on a brand new Lennox home comfort system, up to $1,600 in rebates. Get comfortable. Call Rapid Sheet Metal Heating and Cooling, your comfort experts, at 715-421-5555 today or visit us online at rapidsheetmetal.com. It's just another way we make you feel better.
Is joint pain keeping you on the bench? A joint replacement at Aspirus Riverview Joint Center can get you back in the game. You'll be cared for by a winning team of surgeons, nurses, and therapists who specialize in joint replacement. 98% of patients give Aspirus Riverview Joint Center the highest rating available and say they would recommend them to family and friends. Start your comeback today with help from the pros at Aspirus Riverview Joint Center. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Sportsmanship doesn't end when the game ends. It's part of the community you live in. Respect, character, dignity, and leading by example. Your community, your team. We're a proud sponsor of the WIAA Rural Mutual Insurance Sportsmanship Award since it started in 1965. From football to volleyball to soccer and tennis, the award recognizes more than team sportsmanship. It recognizes that sportsmanship matters in your community as well. Visit www.ruralmutual.com/WIAA and see how our team and your community work together to be true champions.
Sports injuries are increasingly common for high school and college athletes, weekend warriors, and elite pros. Knees, shoulders, and elbows are complex structures. Wisconsin River Orthopedics features skilled board-certified orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine specialists willing and able to get you back in action. They also offer in-house physical and occupational therapy, which may be all you need. For the most effective solutions relieving pain and restoring lives right here in Wisconsin Rapids, contact WROinstitute.com or call 424-1881.
Why do teenagers play high school sports? Some participate for a sense of purpose, some play to inspire others, and some for the friendships they develop. Very few mention they participate to get an athletic scholarship because they know that less than 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. Whatever the reason for playing, student athletes enjoy the benefits of participation, including making better decisions. A message from station WFHR and the WIAA, keeping the education in sports. A great opportunity exists for people who enjoyed sports as participants and would like to give back to the game that means so much to them. Becoming a high school game official gives you the opportunity to get involved, get in shape, and help teach the game to young people. Signing up is easy. To become a WIAA licensed official, go online at WIAAWI.org to apply and become a WIAA licensed official. A message from WFHR and the WIAA, keeping the education in sports.
culminated with a 26-yard field goal by Mac Lucas, and the Kimberly lead was trimmed to 7-3. And then with 60 ticks remaining in the first quarter, Alec Martzel playing quarterback. One play, 70 yards as he went around the left-hand side, dashed down the sideline, and cut it back to the middle of the field and gave the Papermakers a 14-3 lead thanks to the PAT by Cam Lizabelle. And that's how quarter number one came to a close. Stayed that way until there was only about 4 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in quarter number two, when this time Alec Martzel hooked up with Connor Wennick from 25 yards out. Was an 8-play, 80-yard drive, and Zabelle's PAT made it 21-3. Looked like it might stay that way, as Rapids was trying to run out the clock, were unsuccessful in doing so, and it only took the Papermakers 65 seconds to cover 60 yards in 5 plays. It was culminated by Caleb Fraser's 3-yard runoff left tackle, and the PAT by Zabelle made the score 28-3 at the break. Some first half thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, as I was mentioning right before they scored that last touchdown, between every offensive and defensive possession, Kimberly's big enough to have one team for offense, one team for defense, and they were able to have their offense over on the sideline ready to, they had the plays figured out for when they would get back out of the field, what plays they would need, because they got the ball, they were right up to the line, knew exactly what they were needing to do. For Wisconsin Rapids, defensively started out pretty well. I mean, able to get down the field, able to stop Kimberly a couple times. But they're, as I said, they're on the field. They're on the field for too long. They're on the field for too long, and just not giving their offense enough time to get ready. And when their offense is on the field, Austin Piedmont not really what we would have liked to see out of Austin, but again, battling that ankle injury and really trying to figure out what he needs to do in the how much he can help out during the upcoming couple of series when he's out there.
Yeah, definitely struggling with that ankle injury, and not a threat to run the football, of course, and maybe even having a little trouble with that plant foot when he's trying to throw the ball as well. So definitely hobbled by it, and that, of course, hobbles the Raiders when you got your, and any team for that matter, except for the New Orleans Saints, when you're losing your starting quarterback. Let's take a quick 30-second timeout. We'll be back with more halftime activities right after this. You're listening to Lincoln Red Raider Football, AM 1320 WFHR, as well as LeskySports.com.
Let's be honest, we all love the freedom of choice, right? Paper or plastic, Packers versus Bears, cable TV versus streaming. When it comes to how you get your TV, you have a choice. Stop getting bullied into expensive, bulky cable TV packages when you can stream TV for nearly half the price. Streaming just means you get your TV over the internet instead of cable or a satellite dish. As Central Wisconsin's very own internet service provider, Solaris is happy to offer its customers the freedom to choose how they get their TV. For a limited time, Solaris will even give you a free Roku streaming stick when you sign up for internet, so you can try streaming risk-free. No contracts, free installation, and 24-hour local technical support makes Solaris the clear choice. So what do you say? The Solaris team is ready to help you cut the cord and save you money when you use your internet connection to stream TV. Stop and call or visit us at Solaris.net to learn more.
Solaris Media Shower is currently available in Arkdale, Nakusa, Port Edwards, Rudolph, Wisconsin Rapids, and the town of Plover. Certain restrictions may apply.
Well, the Papermakers won the toss, and they deferred, so they will be receiving the kickoff here for half number 2. And all set to kick it off will be Mac Lucas and Alec Martzel, who's played a little running back, played a little quarterback, now will play a little return man, is deep to receive this kick for Kimberly. You know, you see the Papermakers, and in my head I always want to say Nakusa.
Yeah.
I think, how many times have I said it tonight? Maybe only a dozen?
Yeah, well, only 2 Papermaker mascots in the state, and Nakusa and Kimberly are the 2.
We know them both, right? Here's that little flop kick that's going to land at the 36-yard line and immediately covered up by the Papermakers and Connor Pendleton, who caught that one out of the air in the first half. covers this one up once again. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Kimberly at their own 36-yard line as we start half number 2.
Yeah, saw it last week. Talked to Coach Biolo about it. Struggling on kick return or kick off and being able to stop the kick return, and saw it a couple times now when they kicked off, just pooched it over and not have to worry about covering a kick return.
Looks like Martzel's going to start at QB here in half number 2 for the Papermakers. Puts Fraser in motion, flips it forward to him. 35-40, coming around the end, 45 midfield. Still going, 40, 35, and finally forced out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 25 down to the 20-yard line. And that's going to be a pickup of 44 yards and a 1st and 10 from the Rapids 20-yard line.
Yeah, flag sitting right at the 34 as Kimberly starts marching backwards. Oh, now they're making their way closer, but you saw the way that you have wide receivers that can block downfield. This time it was a hold, but Kimberly has shown that their wide receivers practice blocking. They know how to block for when their teammates come marching down the field, and saw at that time at about the 34-yard line, there was a flag. But again, Kimberly's wide receiver blocking has been phenomenal here tonight.
So they put the flag down at the 34-yard line, the 10-yard hold, as Steve called it. Puts it back to the 44-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 as we'll run the first offensive play from the Rapid side of the ball of the field here in half number 2. Hands off to Fraser. He'll run into one would-be tackler. Bounces off of him, but hanging on was Nathan Frost. He kind of bounced off Frost, but he hung on to the jersey and was able to bring him down at the 38-yard line. And it'll be a pickup of 6. One of the halftime scores we saw that kind of got our attention, sort of. Stratford leading Spooner 50-0. Not that Stratford would be winning, but only 50-0. That's what shocked us.
Yeah, and we were talking about it on the way up here, the way that we had talked to Coach Tubbs and his irritation, just being mad about their seed, that we'd think, again, 50-0, that now they can't reach that 100-point mark with running clock.
Here's Martzel faking the handoff, and he'll take it straight up the middle. And he goes across the 30, the 25, the 20, inside the 20. They'll mark him down at the 19-yard line. He got halfway to the goal from the 38. So Rickaby on the tackle for the Raiders, but not before a fresh set of downs for the Papermakers as they move the stick to the 19-yard line.
A couple of local teams that making, as we mentioned, long drives. Colby was up 14-6 at halftime against Cumberland. Marshfield was up 30-22 at halftime up in Superior.
And Everest at half leading Appleton East 41-13.
Wow.
Back to throw. Martzel trying to hook up at the right pylon and incomplete, but we got a flag. And that's going to be pass interference. And that's one of those situations, had he caught it, he'd have been out of bounds anyway, I think. But I think they're going to call pass interference on the Raiders nonetheless. We'll let them sort it all out before we make the official call. But the flag came from the side judge here on the near side and threw it right into the end zone. So little doubt that was the call.
Yeah, that's a tough ball to defend if you're Wisconsin Rapids. And now, unlike the NFL or anything like that, it's not a spot foul, so they only go about half a distance or up to the 9-yard line. So it's going to be 1st down and 1 for Kimberly.
I think it's actually 1st and goal.
1st and goal.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they got the stick turned around backwards. They do. They got up by the front end of the goal. So 1st and goal, you're right. And they'll take and they'll fake the handoff. Whoa, did Hartzell get tackled? You could hear the crowd agree with me on that tackle as he got horse-collared that time, and I think it was Spencer Hawks. 5'11", 196-pound junior on the tackle at the 7-yard line. And it'll be second down for Kimberly. Played a $150 thus far and seen quite a bit of action in this first few moments here of quarter number 3. You know what's interesting? We counted like almost, I think you counted 100 players for Kimberly. My goodness.
Yeah, and they had to, from what we saw on the roster, double up some numbers. And
here's Fraser walking into the end zone like he did earlier from the left-hand side. Takes it in from 7 yards out. And the lead now grows to 34-3.
Yeah, good dose of Frazier on that drive. Had that big run to start things off and found another hole on the left side of the offensive line.
So the lines are set, the ball is in the air, and the ball is through the uprights. And with 9:45 to go in the third quarter, Caleb Frazier takes it in from 7 yards out. And the Papermakers now lead at 35-3. Let's take a timeout. You're listening to AM 1320 FHR.
Not feeling on your game lately? Let the pros at Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health help. With a roster that includes psychiatrists, nurse practitioners, licensed clinical social workers, and nurses. These all-stars are helping meet our community's need for mental health and substance abuse services. Start your comeback today with the help of Aspirus Riverview Behavioral Health. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Back here at Kimberly, where the Papermakers have extended their lead to 35-3. And Version Gamble standing back at his own 6-yard line to receive this kickoff from Cameron Winnick. So they even have multiple people kicking.
Yeah.
Well, when you got 100 guys, you can mix it up a little bit. So Winnick approaches the football and he kind of spirals it downfield and it takes kind of a crazy hop and it's picked up by Rucker at the 20, 25, 30, 35, and finally brought down
Number 10, Rucker on the return.
to the 37-yard line. And Rapids will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 37.
Yeah, Peter, just a sophomore, one of the more exciting wrestlers that Wisconsin Rapids had last year. Is just a freshman. Could see him making another run in his weight class for a conference title. Just very impressive all-around athlete is Peter Rucker.
So they'll mark it ahead 1 more yard per usual, 38-yard line. And Pilot is back out on the field, gives it off to Gamble. He crosses the 40 and makes his way straight ahead to about the 42-yard line. So I'm going to guess a pickup of 4, but it'll probably be 3 or 5. Nope. Got it right this time. 9:22 remaining here in quarter number 3. Papermakers flexing their muscle a little bit here. Number 2 in state behind Muskego, who won the state championship last year.
Yep, yeah, knocking off Kimberly.
Pilot back to throw, and it's almost intercepted. That might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. And for the Papermakers, I think it was Griffin Weigel, almost with the INT. 5'11", 152-pound junior for Kimberly. So that'll bring up now a 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, we were just talking about the number of athletes, number of football players that Kimberly has compared to anybody that I've seen over the number of years. And look at their sideline compared to Wisconsin Rapids, probably about half of what Rapids brought tonight. Again, you probably don't always bring all your players on road games, but yeah, minimal size on that other side.
And Gamble works the
Gamble again in the carry.
side of the field that's away from Steve and I. Goes out to the right hash mark and dances his way up to about the 44-yard line for a gain of a couple. And that'll bring up a 4th down and 4 for the Raiders. And once again, Coach Bielo going to decide at our own 44 here, down 35-3. Do we just play on, or do we punt it away? Right now it looks like they're going to play on.
Yeah, again, a late play call to get into the huddle, so the back judge already starting to count or has his hand in the air awaiting the count.
There he goes. They got 3 seconds to get it off. They do. And back to throw. Pilat got a little down and out, and that's Lucas with the reception and a first down into Papermaker territory at the 45-yard line. So the Raiders decide to go for it. And just like we said in half number 1, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, got a good amount of seniors on this Wisconsin Rapids team. As you mentioned, down by 32 in the third quarter of level 1 of the playoffs. Again, talked to Nate Schooley last week, talked to Coach Biolo. Even if you don't, or even that you get the 8 seed, it's always a good thing knowing that you're one of the last 32 teams in the state to get into the playoffs in your respective division.
A little bit of confusion on the Rapid sideline, who should be in and who should come out. And Coach Biolo says, let's take a timeout. Guys up in the press box need a little time too. So we'll step out. You're listening to AM 1320, FHR.
Here at Rapid Sheet Metal Heating and Cooling, your comfort experts. We just want to make sure our customers stay comfy and cozy this winter. Call us to schedule an annual checkup for your furnace or to take advantage of specials on a brand new Lennox home comfort system, up to $1,600 in rebates. Get comfortable. Call Rapid Sheet Metal Heating and Cooling, your comfort experts, at 715-421-5555 today, or visit us online at rapidsheetmetal.com. It's just another way we make you feel better.
We're back.
Back here at Kimberly, just getting an update here from Don Chesborough back at our studios, doing an excellent job of engineering our broadcast per usual. Steve Maves, Randy Paul, Mike's side here with you. And we're just looking at the brackets here, and number 6, DC Everest at the half, up on number 3, Appleton East, right here in Appleton. Well, we're in Kimberly, a suburb. At the half, 41-13, Steve.
Wow. Yeah, and that just goes to show obviously seeding does matter, but Everest coming out of the VFA as well as Appleton, but Everest came to play tonight, and again, possibly look past the team that you're playing and possibly look at your crosstown rival Appleton North, who they might play next week.
Little down and out, little action here, and that is going to be caught out there by Lisitza. Nice pass that time by Pilat as it goes all the way down to the 32-yard line for a pickup of 13 on that pass play. And it'll be a fresh set of downs for the Raiders.
Yeah, we look at the bracket. Kimberly, the 1 seed, Lincoln 8, Hudson and Neenah, the 4 and 5, Appleton East 3, Everest 6, Eau Claire Memorial at 7, and Appleton North at 2 in this Division 1 grouping letter A this year.
Appleton North got handled pretty easily last week, didn't they, by Kimberly?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Here's a little shovel pass up ahead to Schooley. He'll make the catch and take it up to the 29-yard line. Just a couple yards, got rocked pretty good for 3 yards.
Yeah, 45-14.
Yep, 45-14 last week. So
second and 7.
Right now, 35-3. So and that's a number 2 seed.
Yeah.
So Rapids actually doing a heck of a job if you compare those scores. And driving right now as the ball's at the 29-yard line. Second down and a short 7 yards to go for the Raiders. Wideouts, 2 on top of the screen, 1 on the bottom. And they'll fake the first handoff, give it to the second man through, and that's Gamble, and he gets it up to the 27-yard line. Tough couple of yards on that carry. And it'll bring up third down, and about 5 yards to go for the Raiders as we approach the halfway point of period number 3 in this Division 1 Level 1 playoff game from the home of the Papermakers. And actually, the football field is not on the high school campus. It's on the campus of the middle school.
Yeah, kind of what Beal was in Marshfield for 70 years or whatever it was, but a beautiful facility over here in the Fox Valley, as a lot of the football fields are around here a very good football competition.
Yeah, once we got to my hometown of Brillion, we turned around and came back. Here's the handoff, and nothing doing this time as the handoff goes straight up the middle, and Peter Rucker is brought down at the line of scrimmage at the maybe a loss of one back to the 28, and it'll be fourth down for the Raiders at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, Ben's been successful on a couple of fourth downs so far tonight. Failed on one. See what Austin Pilat and company can do here on 4th and 5 or 6.
Nathan Yankee brings the play in from the sideline. He splits out on the bottom of the screen to the right. Lisitsa. Gamble behind Pilat, trying to set up a little wheel route, and the ball goes off the hands of the intended receiver, Schooley. Would have been a tough catch if he had been able to make it. It was about belt high as it was coming over the top of the head of the receiver, or the defender, I should say, and it falls incomplete. And Kimberly holds. 9 plays on that drive, but comes to an end, and the Papermakers will take over 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, going back to this bracket that we got, Kimberly and Bayport, the 1 seeds on the left or the left-hand side. If you look at the bracket online, Madison Memorial and Muskego, the 1 seeds on the other side. Fond du Lac, the 2 seed. So Fond du Lac, yeah, in the bracket with Madison Memorial. So it's has always been a tough division, and will continue this year in Division 1.
Here's a handoff. This time Martzel playing running back, and he makes his way to the 36-yard line for a pickup of 8. You know, according to WIS Sports, Bayport was number 2 on week 8, and they fell to number 3 behind Kimberly. So deserving of the number 1 seed in their side of the bracket, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see all the Madison teams back into the playoffs, especially the top half of the seeds. Again, a lot of Madison teams haven't made it very far in the Division I playoffs. I don't think I read since 2014 or something. There haven't been any in the state semifinals. So
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Here's the handoff. Pendleton playing quarterback. He'll give it to Martzel. Not much going. Maybe got himself a couple 3 yards. Very close to the front end of the stick. Let's see what they do. And the headlinesman says move the chains. So they put it out to the 39-yard line, and fresh set of downs for the Papermakers.
Yeah, the Madison schools should have a good chance. Got Madison Memorial West, La Follette, some schools around there. Sun Prairie is going to start breaking up, I believe, next year or the year after. School are going to be Sun Prairie North and South, one of the largest in the state. Yep.
There's the fake of the handoff to Martzel. Rolling to his right, Pendleton, and he overshoots the intended receiver that time, Mitch Bartol. The big tight end, 6'4", 227-pound senior. Got a paw on it, but that was about it.
Yeah, that's a pass that you got to make. A wide open tight end coming across the middle. I believe a flag standing there at the 34-yard line.
Preliminary indication is going to be holding against the Papermakers. And that's what it is. And if Rapids accepts, and I believe they will, they're going to march it all the way back to the 24-yard line. This is one of those penalties Dave Miller was always upset about. A 10-yard holding penalty and you lose 15 yards on it. So it'll be 1st and 25 now for the Makers, back at their own 24-yard line.
Yeah, bringing in a whole new, got a new offensive lineman, getting a new receiver, a new running back there too.
And they still have 82 guys on the side. A couple of guys not suited up, though, so they're probably down to 94.
Yeah.
Here's the handoff. Straight up the middle. Not a whole lot doing. I think that was Alec Martzel again. They're going to say he able to push the pile up to the 26-yard line. A couple of yards.
Through Nathan Frost on the tackle. Gain to the 26-yard line.
2nd down and 23.
For the Makers.
3 minutes and 16 seconds here in quarter number 3. Papermakers can push one across. They would have themselves a running clock, I think, huh? Or a field goal. There's a pass over the middle, and it's going to be picked off for the Raiders. Making the interception for Rapids that time was Garrett Juneman, the 5'7", 157-pound senior. That ball was thrown behind the intended receiver, and Juneman kind of playing center field back there, making the pick, and Rapids will take over 1st and 10.
Yeah, saw a couple of poor throws on that drive by Kimberly. Had a wide open tight end across the middle and that holding penalty, and then a pass behind the receiver, and Juneman right where he needed to be, picking it off, and it's going to be 1st down for Rapids.
So they'll start in Papermaker territory at the 43-yard line, 1st and 10 Rapids. Austin Pilot back in at quarterback. He'll fake the handoff, going down the right sideline. Little back shoulder. That looked like an offensive pass interference. It looked like Lazitza got away with the push, but he did not able to hang on to the pass. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, the first half they were going when they were going to Lazitza, a lot of man-on-man coverage. This time going to Adam. A little bit more zone for Kimberly here in the second half, trying to slow down Dylan Lazitza and Austin Pilot.
So try 2nd and 10 from the 43-yard line, will the Raiders. Pilot will take, and he'll hand it off to Rucker, and he is driven back. And blow the whistle, guys.
Rucker on the carry.
They finally do after they shove him back 8 yards. He picked up 1. And for the 3rd time tonight, we say DeAndre Williams on the tackle, a loss of 1 back to the, a gain of 1, I should say, to the 42-yard line. So wrapped up in him pushing him all the way back to midfield, I was thinking it was going to be a loss. Don't forget, tomorrow we got Badger football for you as they take on number 3 Ohio State. Kickoff at 11 a.m. on AM 1320. And then we've got Badger hockey at 6:30 tomorrow night as they play host to Clarkson. Busy night yet tonight. Football Friday night at 9:30 or immediately following Rapids football. Here's the handoff straight up the middle. And again, not much running room for Rapids.
Rucker on the carry.
As Peter Rucker is stopped at about the 41.5-yard line. They just picked up the stick and moved it about 6 inches.
Brings up 4th down. 4th and 8.
So Rapids, 4th down and 8.5 yards to go. $1:35 remaining in this 3rd stanza. 35-3. Kimberly, number 2 in the state, number 1 seed in this bracket, leading the Raiders.
Hey, you're talking that there's Wisconsin hockey going on. It's crazy to think. I mean, it's almost the end of, or it is close to the end of October already. High school football week 10 just about over here this year.
Pilot, nice pass up into Schooley. He's got the 1st down, pays for it, but he hangs on to the football at the 28-yard line. So fresh set of downs on the 14-yard reception that time from Pilot to Schooley.
Yeah, another 4th down conversion for Wisconsin Rapids, and continuing their drive here. It's going to be, again, nice 1st down at the 29-yard line.
I think Travis Wilson said last week, the football season drawing to a close, the fastest 9 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Unless you're a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is. I mean, it just flies by. A little chilly, but can't complain too much about the weather right now. Not a lot of, had one snowflake a couple of weeks ago, but.
Trips to the top of the screen. They pitch it out to Rucker. He gets the corner. 30, 25, 20. Hurdles one would-be tackler, and the ball's knocked out of his hands, but it's out of bounds. And I think they're going to say that the ball's at the 15, and the side judge over there, the head linesman, throws the flag high in the sky. So let's see what that's all about. Ball right now at the 15-yard line of Kimberly.
Yeah, neither team moving back or forward yet, so see what the final verdict is going to be. A long talk with the white hat.
If anything, Kimberly, for a moment, was standing on the Rapids side of what would be the line of scrimmage, and now the umpire says, come on back on your own side over here, guys. Still a discussion taking place. And finally, it's over. And the referee going to tell us, hopefully, what occurred a long way away from Steve and I. Personal foul. He didn't say on.
He didn't even point to a side.
Nope, but he's marching it off against Rapids. He's talking it through, but he doesn't have a microphone. Doesn't do us any good, young man.
Yeah, now he's talking to a Kimberly captain that they'll march it back.
And it's only a 10-yard. Weren't they at the 15? I could be wrong. Maybe they're at the 10. But it's at the 25.
Yeah, 1st and 5.
Unique.
1st and 5 for the Red Raiders.
25-yard line, 25 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Pilat gives it to Rucker, and he is going to be brought down at the 26-yard line. And a couple of defensive linemen almost made a wishbone out of him as we get closer to Thanksgiving here. Looked like they each had a leg, and they were making a wish.
Lost back to the 26-yard line.
And that'll be the final play here as we've come to the end of quarter number 3. So only one score here in the third quarter. That into the hands of the Papermakers. And they now extended their lead at the end of 3 to 35-3. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. You're listening to AM 1320 WFHR as well as ZaleskiSports.com.
Sports injuries are increasingly common for high school and college athletes, weekend warriors, and elite pros. Knees, shoulders, and elbows are complex structures. Wisconsin River Orthopedics features skilled board-certified orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine specialists willing and able to get you back in action. They also offer in-house physical and occupational therapy, which may be all you need. For the most effective solutions relieving pain and restoring lives right here in Wisconsin Rapids, contact WROinstitute.com or call 424-1881.
Is joint pain keeping you on the bench? A joint replacement at Aspirus Riverview Joint Center can get you back in the game. You'll be cared for by a winning team of surgeons, nurses, and therapists who specialize in joint replacement. 98% of patients give Aspirus Riverview Joint Center the highest rating available and say they would recommend them to family and friends. Start your comeback today with help from the pros at Aspirus Riverview Joint Center. Aspirus, passion for excellence, compassion for people.
Little pump fake that time by Pilat on the first play of quarter number 4. And Schooley did a little stop and go, but nobody was faked out as they were playing deep, so he went to Lazitza instead. And Dillon actually turned into the defender that time as he knocked it away. Ball a little bit high that time, and Dillon went up high with the right hand and knocked it away in the end zone. So pass falls incomplete, and it'll bring up a third down and, about 6 or 7 yards to go for Rapids. They have to get to the 20-yard line, and the ball resting just outside the 26-yard line. Good one going on between Abbotsford and Crivets, and it goes final. Abbey with a 48-41 victory. Lazitz in a little bit of trouble, Pilat in some trouble, and he pitches it back towards Rucker. Ball's on the ground, and the entire Kimberly sideline erupts. I think that means they recovered.
Yeah, it was a miscue from the beginning for Wisconsin Rapids. Pilat handled the snap a little funny, and then he tried to pitch back to Peter Rucker, who lost control, and Kimberly was right on top of it. That's a big game for Abbotsford, as they were a number 1 seed, taking on Crivets, and number 8 seed, and the Falcons just getting by Crivets. So advance, that's the name of the game right now, win and advance at any means possible. So Abbotsford getting a big win.
Used to do a little vacationing up in Crivets when I was a kid. High Falls Flowage up there, Lake Nakabe. Schaefer Motel had some great chicken on Sunday. Gave him a good battle tonight. Abbotsford comes out on top. Papermakers take over at their own 35-yard line. Frazier makes his way up to the 39-yard line as he gets 4 yards on that carry.
42 Frost first on the hit.
And it'll bring up second down and 6.
Up to the 39-yard line.
Just 30 ticks gone by here in period number 4. Kimberly 35, Rapids 3. If you're just joining us, we like to say why. You should have been here for the last 2 hours. Yeah. From Papermakers Stadium in Kimberly, Wisconsin. Division 1, Level 1 high school football for you here on this Friday night. Papermakers with the ball. Second down and 6. Hand off to Frazier. He's got some running room around the right-hand side. Stiff arms one would-be tackler and turns the edge. 45-50 midfield. Crosses it to the 40 and knocked out of bounds finally at the 36-yard line of Wisconsin Rapids.
Yeah, Frazier has been the workhorse here in the second half for Kimberly. Again, busted a couple of big runs in that. Early that third quarter, and continuing to put the work to Frazier here in the fourth.
Kimberly, if they hang on to win this ball game, will take on the winner of Nina and Hudson, and right now the Nina on top of Hudson, 28-13 in quarter number 3. The Rockets winning that one. Here's the handoff up the middle. It's breaking to the outside and all the way down to the 15-yard line as Parker Kester, a 6-foot, 175-pound junior, gets his first carry of the ball game. And it's good for a first down. They'll mark it officially at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, Rapids just getting worn down right now. A long game, down 32 against the number 2 team in the state. And Kimberly showing why. Again, they just continue to bring in and take out player after player, quarterback, running backs, receivers. They have a lot of players that can play a lot of positions.
Caden Pendleton now the quarterback for the Papermakers. He's been taking turns with Martzel. And once again, they'll hand it off, dip it to the inside, back to the outside, go for the far pylon. Touchdown, Parker Kester for the Papermakers.
16 yards for Parker Kester.
So Parker Kester takes it in from 16 yards out, and that's going to get us a running clock.
Yeah, they do a really good job of getting into the line and then bouncing out to the outside. That time to the right, a lot of them to the left here tonight. And Kimberly looking to advance to level 2.
So the PAT by Cam Zabel is good. And with 10:15 to go here in period number 4, Papermakers going to put that clock in motion when we kick it off. You're listening to AM 1320 FHR.
A great opportunity exists for people who enjoyed sports as participants and would like to give back to the game that means so much to them. Becoming a high school game official gives you the opportunity to get involved, get in shape, and help teach the game to young people. Signing up is easy. To become a WIAA licensed official, go online at WIAAWI.org to apply and become a WIAA licensed official. A message from WFHR and the WIAA, keeping the education in sports.
Back here at Kimberly, number 2 team in the state, Papermakers, on top of Rapids 42-3. And we'll start that clock in motion here over the final 10 minutes and 15 seconds. Winnick will do the honors kicking this thing off for the Papermakers. Mercy on deep for Rapids along with Peter Rucker. And also back there, looks like Leo Brostowitz as well. So they got a triumvirate back there this time.
They got a score from Bloomer as the Spencer Columbus boys taking it to Bloomer 20-12 with 2:30 to go. Again, that's a 3-6 matchup. Spencer Columbus, the number 6 seed, and going to take down Bloomer.
Brostowitz is the man who picks up the ball on the near side. He takes it all the way to the far side, outside the hash mark, outside the numbers, and he's finally dragged down at the 32-yard line. So a return of 51 yards, and he picks up 2. That's how that works when you run that far. So Rapids will start 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. And as we said, that clock's going to roll for the next 10 minutes, and we'll be able to wrap things up here from Kimberly.
First and 10 on their own 32-yard line.
Of course, Port Edwards also in the playoffs in 8-man football. And the Papermakers of Nakusa taking on number 1 Northwestern tonight as well. Here's the handoff. Not much running room as they go between the right guard and right tackle. Does Versian. I'll give him a yard to the 33.
And has been mentioned before, Travis Wilson and company will have all those scores for you from around the states in just a little while.
Boy, they sure do a nice job, don't
Yeah.
they? It's so much fun to listen to those guys. I love that shit. It's nothing like relaxing on a Friday night after either doing a football game or listening to one, and then listening to those guys and keep us updated. They do nice jobs on their interviews, and it's a fun show. I'm glad we got it aboard. Hope you listened as well. Here's the handoff. Off the right side, Versian got a little edge. 35-40, 45, knocked out of bounds near midfield. Showed a little burst right there, did he not?
Yeah, he is a very fun football player to watch. I've seen him a couple times this year. Again, a big first down for Rapids, but continues to show that he is as explosive as they come in the VFA and in central Wisconsin.
I always think they should redshirt these high school kids.
Yeah.
So Lisitsa walking out to the top of the screen, stands right on the 0 of the 50-yard line. Nathan Schooley on the bottom of the screen. 2 running backs, one of them Versian, and they give it to him as he crosses midfield up to about the Kimberly 46-yard line.
Yeah, again, feed the senior and Versian. A very good year here for Wisconsin Rapids. If you have an opportunity, go to Facebook, look at Zaleski Sports Wisconsin Rapids, and we got a day in the life of Versian Gamble. Gave him a cell phone and filmed from wake up to after the game against Lacrosse Logan. So a lot of fun to watch what goes into these high school athletes day by day.
That's a cool idea. I love it. Rolling to his left, Pilot, bad ankle and all, dumps it over the middle, incomplete as he hobbles backwards. A little bit Favre-like as he did that. I want to show how old I am, but way back in '96, I was at that Monday night game between the Packers and the 49ers. One time I looked at the ball was out about the 35-yard line of the 49ers, and I couldn't find Favre after he threw the ball. I'm like, where is he? He was way back in his own 30. He backpedaled like 50 yards because they were just trying to knock him out because they knew if they could knock out Favre, Packers would be out of contention. Tough guy to knock out, that's for sure. He only played through a season with a broken thumb.
Yeah, no big deal.
Come on. So that incomplete pass will bring up a 3rd down and 6 from the 46-yard line of Kimberly. Of course, clock continues to run as we have broached the 35-yard mark. Here's the handoff once again to Versian. Slips through a crack, and he's got the first down. And a penalties, come flying in. Boy, that back jug's got an arm.
That was a good throw.
Woo! That flag just probably 20, 25 yards. So I don't know if they're going to give him the first down. I think he's got it, but now we'll wait and see what the flag's about. A couple of Rapids players there talking, so maybe they got a little face mask and they're add-on.
Yeah, one of the officials moved his hand towards his face like they hadn't tugged on Versian's face mask, and it's going to be a first down.
So they'll say garden variety, move it up to the 35-yard line.
And the ball spotted to Makers at the 35-yard line.
And it'll be a fresh set of downs for Rapids.
First and 10 Rapids.
With 5:35 and counting.
Correction, that was a face mask penalty.
So we'll run through the scoring highlights after the ball game and wrap things up here and try to get you to football Friday night in about 28 minutes from now or so. Here's the snap. There's the fake handoff, looking downfield, and it is going to be picked off at the 12-yard line. Take it up the far side of the field and down at about the 30-yard line. So Kimberly gets the INT, and they'll take over 1st and 10. As the interception is made by Trevor Bruce.
Kimberly takes over 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line.
So let's see how Kimberly decides to play the final 4:44 now. See how many new faces we see out in the field right now, huh? Would not be surprised if there was a whole bunch of them. So 1st and 10, ball on their own 30-yard line. Shotgun formation. And the man who had the touchdown earlier, Parker Kester, with the carry. He makes his way up to the 33-yard line for a gain of a couple 3 on that carry. And it's 2nd down and 7. 4 minutes exactly to go.
Yeah, talking about quarterbacks that try and play through injury. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is ruled out on Sunday against the Packers, so that's a little bit of a giddy up for the Packer fans to be happy about, but again, always tough to play at Arrowhead.
And watch out for those backups. Sometimes they have a great ball goes through the hands of the quarterback, standing back and falls on it. That was Zach Kreider QBing that time and lost 10 yards on that all the way back to the 20, actually 13 yards. And they have to get all the way out to the 40, so it'll bring up a 3rd down now and 20 yards to go.
3rd and 20 for Kimberly on their own 20-yard line.
So I think they have to get to about Kaukauna.
Galloping Ghosts having another nice year in Division II. Kaukauna, speaking of Kaukauna.
Right.
Good year for the boys over there. Again, still, as Jason Zaleski says, always one of the best mascots in the state. A Galloping Ghost.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Here's the snap and the handoff straight up the middle. Going to pound his way up to about the 30-yard line. That was Kester again. We'll see. Got himself 10 yards on that carry.
Parker Kester on the
Yep.
carry.
Parker Kester does it. And this might be the 2nd punt of the game for Kimberly. That could be a new record. Clock rolls 2:22 to go in quarter number 4:44.
On the punt for Kimberly, number 43, Jackson Wild.
Superior takes a 36-30 lead over Marshfield with 11 minutes left.
Oh, that's going to be a good finish.
Yeah.
So the snap is good. The punt is away, and it's a high wobbler that's going to land at the Rapids 42-yard line and bounce inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line, where with 1:55 and counting, Rapids will take over 1st and 10, and they might have some time to run a play or two before things wind down here. Well, you know, for a 42-3 game, it was actually pretty entertaining, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a lot of fun. And Rapids, didn't give up, obviously. Coach Biolo and company, again, a handful of seniors. Always tough to have your final game come down to this. But it was a huge, obviously a huge win. A big accomplishment to get into the playoffs this year for Wisconsin Rapids. Start out 0-3, and to be able to rattle off enough games to punch their ticket. It's just going to be a tough way for Austin Pilat, Versión Gamble and company to exit their Wisconsin Rapids career.
Helped on the carry. Eric gets it maybe a half yard on the pickup as we're under a minute to go. Here from Papermaker Land. Oh my goodness. Stratford only won it 63-0. And a final, number 1 seed Northwestern knocking off Nakusa 41-0.
See, that shows you right there. Stratford should have been a number 1 seed. And a team that voted against Stratford, Bloomer, got knocked off by Spencer Columbus. So, again, a huge 6-3 win, or 6 beating a 3. And Spencer Columbus Stratford next week.
That's kind of like those 12-5s in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
So for the Raiders, Caleb Hart, 5'7", 133-pound senior, gets a couple of yards off right tackle out to the 37-yard line. And that's going to wrap up our ball game. Final score, reading the Papermakers 42, Wisconsin Rapids 3. Started off back in quarter number 1 at the 7:25 mark. A little screen pass, 11 yards from Pendleton to Fraser. It was a 3-play, 9-yard drive, and the PAT by Cam Zabel made it 7-0 Kimberly. Rapids got a field goal, 26-yard variety from Mac Lucas on a 46-yard drive. And with 3:45 to go in the first quarter, Papermakers' lead was trimmed to 7-3, but that was it. Rapids would not score again. They did miss a field goal, but they did move the ball tonight and put up a good show. Martzel, playing quarterback with 1 minute left in the first quarter, took it 70 yards to the left and cut it back to the middle. And Zabel's PAT made it 14-3 Kimberly after quarter number 1. 2 more scores in quarter number 2 by the Papermakers. Martzel's pass to Connor Wennick from 25 yards out kept an 8-play, 80-yard drive. Zabel's PAT made it 21-3, and then with just 36 seconds to go in the first half, Caleb Fraser's 3-yard run to the left kept a 5-play, 60-yard drive, and it was 28-3 Kimberly. 1 score in the third quarter. Caleb Fraser, 7-yard run to the left, looked very identical to the run that he made just before the half. It was a 7-play, 64-yard drive, 35-3 after the Zabel PAT. And then in the fourth quarter, running clock at the 10:15 mark, Parker Kester ran off the right side to the pylon from 16 yards out, a 4-play, 65-yard drive. And with the PAT, Kimberly advances with a 42-3 win. Some final thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, again, congratulations to the Papermakers, but got to give your hats off to how Wisconsin Rapids battled throughout the year. Again, Austin Pilock going down last week in week 9. Didn't know if he would be able to play this week. Just to have the guts and glory to be able to come in and play the second drive, airing it out right away to Dylan Lazitza. And again, a tough way to end your high school football career in a game that a lot of people didn't give you a chance. You came out. Again, defensively, they stuck around for a couple of drives. But, again, Kimberly just way too much, way too many players. Wisconsin Rapids got worn down. And, again, Coach Biola will have these boys ready. They have quite a few of them coming back, obviously, with high school. Just keep on redoing the numbers. And, again, Austin Peel had a great career at Lincoln. Still has a basketball season to come around to, which should probably for them open gym starting in a couple weeks. And again, Version Gamble kind of bursting out onto the scene this year in his senior year. And a lot of those offensive linemen, a couple of big offensive linemen for Wisconsin Rapids in their final season. Again, obviously not the way that you wanted to end your career, but again, being able to say that you got into the playoffs, one of 32 teams to get into the Division I playoffs.
And, there's people always say no moral victories, but you know what? Rapids can't hang their heads. They fought hard tonight, and they fought hard to get in the playoffs, as you said, after starting off 0-3. And so congrats to Coach Biolo and his staff for getting them this far. And, you lose the number 2 team in the state, maybe the number 1 team in the state. We'll see how things play out, but you surely can't hang your heads after that. So Kimberly comes away with a victory tonight, 42-3. Don Chesborough back at our studios. Awesome job per usual. A couple more updates for us before we head on out here. Everest leading Appleton East, 47-27 with about 9 minutes remaining in that one. And a final, Auburndale, the Apaches over Marquezan by the final of 26-12. So just a reminder, we've got football Friday night for you. That's coming up in about 18 minutes or so. Travis Wilson and the gang from WIS Sports always do a great job with that. We invite you to stay tuned to that. And tomorrow we got Badger football for you. Number 13 Wisconsin taking on number 3 Ohio State at the Shoe in Columbus. And then at 6:30 tomorrow night, Badger hockey as they play host to Clarkson. And don't forget, 10 o'clock, Zaleski Sports Show. I think I know a guy that's going to be on that. Great job tonight, Steve. We really enjoyed doing our first game together. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hoping to do some basketball this winter and, got all of our quirks out of there, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure appreciate it. Thanks for the ride over and the effort. Great job. So for Don Chesborough and Steve Mays, this is Randy Paul saying so long, everybody, as you've been listening to Lincoln Red Raider football here on AM 1320, WFHR, as well as ZaleskiSports.com.